Hey guys, this is part two of the money management unit and the budget building or personal budget task. We are going to just take it a couple of steps further now. But before we do, I just want to reassure you that if you haven't quite got the hang of the spreadsheets yet and not being able to make the formulas work in quite the way that you want to, or as it was exampled in the video, nobody gets it the first time. All right, it's a trial and error. Keep going. All right. This information is on your Google Classroom. The video is on your Google Classroom, so you can go back to it and have a look and go through it step by step. We might do it at the end of the term if that's something that we want to do as a bit of a wrap up and a review and reflect session at the end of the term as well. Okay. But today we're going to be looking at life expenses and creating another sheet in the same document. Okay. What I will say before we go on to that bit is that what we got in front of us now is essentially a payslip. So this is how payslips basically look. And that's all done for you by your employer. So you'll have a salary and income tax is automatically taken out by the government, as well as national insurance is also automatically taken out. And if you're opted into a pension scheme, that is also automatically taken out. So this is what Harry's payslip would look like on the left-hand side. So you won't have to do that necessarily because you'll just have a net amount which you can put into your personal budget. But it's good to know how to work out the maths. All right. But the next bit, the life expenses, that isn't something that's done for you. This is our own responsibility about what we spend our money on, how we spend it, and making sure that we've got enough money at the end of the month to live on, basically. So this is what we're going to do now. So to do that, we're going to create another sheet. All right, we do that by going down to the bottom left here, and you're going to press that add sheet button, and that's going to give you another sheet. So you've got sheet 1 and sheet 2. What we're going to do firstly on that is just rename these so we know what we're looking at when we click into it. So that is income. Got fat fingers again. Income and deductions. And sheet 2, and click into it, it should bring up another blank sheet for you. Okay, and that one is going to be life expenses. And then we're going to give ourselves some titles. So that is going to be expense title. And then the amount, and we're going to go with a monthly amount and a yearly amount. Okay. And now we're going to think about what we spend money on, what people spend money on. We went going back to responsibilities and what things cost. So we're going to use Harry as an example again. So a big one is rent. That's everybody needs somewhere to live if they're going to be independent. Let's, for example, theorize that Harry has to travel in. He owns a car and he has to travel in from, South Molton each day into Barnstaple. Okay. And then everyone needs to eat. So food should be on everyone's list. What else? We could do, for me, coffee. All of the other lecturers on EAP will vouch for this, but I probably spend way too much money on coffee each month on takeaway coffees. Okay, so so rent. Let's go. So a monthly amount for rent would be, let's just, for example, a 1-bedroom flat. He lived on his own, and he lives in around this area, around Stickle Path. That's about £550 a month for a 1-bedroom flat. Petrol. I'll just go with what I spend, which is about £50 a month. Food, around for one person, a good rule of thumb is in around £50 a week. Probably less if you're on your own. So let's just go with £180 for him. Coffee, it's embarrassing, but let's think about this. I'd probably spend about £45 a month on coffee. Probably more actually, but by doing this, and and this is something I probably need to do again because it's coming towards the winter and I like coffees and I spend more money on it, so I will adjust this in my own personal budget. Okay, so now we're going to work out the yearly amounts. All right, to do that, we should know how to multiply and use sums now. What we're going to do is we're going to add a sum into that one, which is going to be your monthly figure, and there are 12 months in a year, so the yearly figure would be the monthly figure times by 12. So times is shift and 8, and 12. We're just going to type in 12 and press enter. And there you go. That's how much he spends on rent per year. Now, as a bit of a shortcut now, we don't need to add in a separate sum into each one of these. What we can do is we can, when you where the blue box is, in the bottom right hand corner is this very small square, blue square. We click on that one and then drag that to all of the sums that you want it to work out for you, and then press enter, and it does it all for you. Okay, because you're just timesing all of those figures by 12, so it's automatically working that out for you. Okay, and then we're going to total all of our figures, and as we should have done this again in the previous task. So we're going to sum, and we're just going to highlight all of those. That's a total of all his monthly expenses. You'll probably have more monthly expenses, so more in your expenses title line, just because I'm just using this as an example, but there are loads of other things that people spend money on, or Harry's probably going to spend money on, that you might think of. All right, and then again, we know that that's the same figure on that side as well. So press the blue square and scoot, and then hold and press it down, scooch it over, and then press enter, and that gives you his yearly amount, total yearly amount that he spends each month. Okay, so that is Harry's expenses. So that's his life expenses. Now we're going to make the sheets talk to each other a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go back into the income and deductions, and now we're going to put in another line, and this one is going to be Harry's expendable income. So the income he has after life happens. Okay, so now to work that one out, we need Harry's net pay. So after all of his deductions from the government and his pension and national insurance, Harry's net pay is that amount. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to auto sum. So it's Harry's net pay minus, so whilst that's clicked in and you've got that selected, you just click into the other sheet, so the life expenses. So we're going to minus his monthly amount. Oh, actually, I made a bit of a mistake because I didn't press the minus button. So I'm just going to go back. Right. So sum again. And we're going to go Harry's net pay minus, and then I'm going to click into life expenses, and I'm going to minus his life expenses for the month. And that will, hopefully, there it is. That's how much Harry has got left after life happens. Okay, so now he knows that he can, get a better car, move to a better apartment, because he knows he's got this supplemental income. So stuff that he can, expendable income, stuff that he's got after everything that in life happens. So now we've done that. I'm going to put that in bold as well. And again, everything should now speak to each other. So salary. So again, if his salary changes, everything should change. So if his salary goes up to £2,000 a month, that means he's got more expendable income. He pays more tax and everything else, but he's got more expendable income. Let's put it back to 3. And then the same goes for if, let's say, for example, I decide to bring in my own coffee and I no longer spend money on coffee because that's in my food bill. My expendable income goes down, which means I've got more money to spend at the end of the month. Okay, so that's how budgets work. And they are really useful things to get a grasp of and to start to get to know the basics of, which we're doing here. Okay, so give that a go. Create yourself another sheet, get life expenses in there, total it up, and then try to make those sheets speak to each other. All right, lecturers will give you a hand with this. And again, if you need to rewatch the video and remind yourselves of different points of it, or how to do the sums, or how to total things up, go back to that bit. All right, great guys. Speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye.